you stay on the vineyard for the summer? Won't you stay on the vineyard for the year? We'll find a little house down there in Oak Bluffs, and our children is those that will stay on the vineyard for the summer.
Hey everyone, Pat Mcgee here. I'm hanging out with Jack O'Neill and Jackopierce. They are tuning in from where? Where are you guys at?
Jack's eating right now. Very pro
Oh,
move,
cool.
Jack. Very pro. Jack is in New York City. Yeah, he's all jammed up in the city. I'm in Dallas,
Good.
Texas. Thanks for having us on the show, Pat.
Are you kidding me? This is fantastic. I'm
All
going
right, I'm
to have a
in. I'm
flashback.
in.
Jack, did you finish your grub? Does everyone just get Grubhub at all times in New York City? Just constant food flow to the door?
You
That's what I
know,
picture.
I am. Yeah, they do, but not me. I don't do that. I've never
Good
Grubhub.
for you.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I've never had.
My remembering of making a record in New York City, you guys probably made at least one or two there, is that they bring in, we were at Avatar, the power station or whatever it was called, and they brought in this binder that was bursting and they just throw it on the table on the first day. And they're like, you guys order up. And clearly that was like the producer's call, because if the record label was there, they would have walked in and taken the book and been like, I don't think so, boys. You guys shoot a video in 6 months. Oh my God. The amount of eating
Bring
during
us-
that record was obnoxious.
Yeah, just bring a PB and
Yeah.
J next time you show up. Save that budget.
Yeah, New
That-
York has that thing where you're like, hey, we go till 2 o'clock in the morning and we're hungry for the fourth time. Let's have another meal. And you can get whatever you want. It's 3 o'clock, whatever. So I'm a new man from those recording days. I've learned my lesson on that. So anywho, but thanks for joining us from New York and Dallas. My alarm is going off. It says call Jackopierce. Look at that. I am early,
By
sort
the
of.
way,
Um,
I like the way you say the name of the band. And there's a lot of variations, but you say Jackopierce. And we have a lot of arguments on the road because Jack says Whole Foods, and I of course say the way it's supposed to be, which is Whole Foods. You don't say Jackopierce, you say Jackopierce. And I just want to make that clear.
Jackopierce.
If we're going to move forward on this down the hatch deal, I just want to make it clear that we are open to either interpretation of Jackopierce,
Oh, okay. So people, what? Okay.
Jackopierce. You're heavy Jack camp. You're in the heavy Jack camp.
Sounds like I'm favoring Jack in this.
You
It
are,
just
and
comes
it's
out
very
more.
common. It's
It's pretty
common.
It's a definitive.
subtle what you're doing.
I'm not trying to undersell you, Carrie. I know better than that. But listen, I have a memory that I'm sure you have no memory of. This is like in mid '90s. You guys are out on an aware tour. You're playing the Flood Zone in Richmond. Shannon Worrell is opening for you, or at least hanging out. Um, and I had never seen you before. I had heard the record, and I'll get into how I got that record. But I'm walking into the Flood Zone. This is where Pat McGee Band started in Richmond. I don't think we were a band yet, but I knew all about you guys. And I walked into the Flood Zone, and you, Gary, and Shannon were hustling out of there. And it was like the Richmond. In that moment, I'm like, it was like Streisand and Michael Jackson are leaving the club, and I'm going into the venue, and I just was like, there they go. They're superheroes of rock, and that show was amazing. I still can remember the show. I remember the energy of the show more than anything, and that was just incredible to me. And I was a big Shannon Worrell fan, and I was like, of course they know each other. Why don't all the great singer songwriters who rock the acoustics like these guys do and like Shannon did? Of course, you all knew each other. So talk a little bit about that, if you can remember that time period of the band and Shannon and all that scene.
Wow. Well, I mean, Jack, do you know more than I do? Because I may know
You
a
don't remember the
I
Flood
I
Zone, Virginia? Come on, man.
Yes.
Shannon came to us by way of Aware, and that's because Greg Latterman, the great not late Latterman, the current still with us, Greg Latterman, started Aware Records. A lot of y'all knew of PMB Jackopierce because of the Aware compilations, and she was an aware artist. Like I think he started signing bands way back when, and Shannon was one of the first. It was like Fighting Gravity and somebody else maybe, and then Worrell was one of those aware signees. And very commonly, Latterman would say, "Hey guys, I got this gal I'd love you to meet. Would you let her, open for
Right.
you?" And so she came on the road with us, and we became best bros. Wasn't she like, she was super bro with Dave Matthews, I believe. I
With
think
Dave.
she
Yeah,
was really
the songs that she had on
him.
the Aware, I think Aware One were had Dave on the tracks. So
That's
that
right.
was like when he gave her the nod of approval, everyone just flocked to her.
Yes,
Um,
that's right.
yeah, so you guys getting into Aware on the first record, how did that come to be? Did you know Greg or did he find you in Texas? How did that happen?
I will speak to this because I lived it, and then Jack will speak after this. Jack, go ahead and just keep nodding the way you're doing. It's good. It's really good stuff. Good stuff. Um, Jack, Brady and I, our old manager of 10 years, the first 10 years, Brady Wood managed us, and we lived together in a house, and we would just sit in the back room and send out packages all day and hang out. We had an 800 number back in the day. Get a call on the 800 number. This guy named Greg Latterman from, I'm not sure where he was. He's like, I'm at Cooper's Library, and I'm an accountant, but I'm starting this thing. We're like, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I want to put
Right,
on these songs on this compilation. We're like, sure, whatever. Send him the CD. Thought we'd never hear from him again. Then he shows up at the Black Rose. I may be getting some of this wrong, but I believe he showed up with a box of CDs at the Black Rose where Guster, then Gus, they were called Gus then, were opening up for
right,
us. Gus openings for us at the Black Rose. Latterman shows up with a box of CDs. We immediately were like, we totally forgot about this. Oh my gosh, this really happened. And there's Jackopierce on the Aware One compilation. We become like fast friends. We have the RV, we have mountain bikes on the back. We're headed to the vineyard in Nantucket. And he said, can I come join you? He jumps in the RV, spends the next like week or two with us on the road, and we fell in love, best friends forever. Like that
right.
relationship's still strong. Gosh, 26, 7 years later.
Yeah, at least.
And you
Um,
were you on an Aware compilation, or you definitely were part of the Aware
we were
family?
on Aware. We were
Okay.
on Aware. I want to say five. We were in talks about, or maybe we were on three. I think three was the one with Hootie and Edwin and Vertical.
Ah,
That's when they started getting into the slightly less jammy, more sort of modern AC type bands. And so we were sort of always on the radar with those guys. And it was just a thrill to be even in the conversation back then. I know it was, we still have, I just sent Latterman, I think my last vinyl, because I saw what a sweet ass stereo system he's rocking
oh
out
my
in
gosh.
Chicago. And I'm like, I think you need to have this. I
Yeah.
am holding on to one for Jimmy Fallon if he'll answer my my junk mail that's clearly sitting in his box. Because I think he needs to hear it too. But yeah, Latterman was a trailblazer. If you guys don't know about that, I don't even think you can find Aware CDs on iTunes or anything like that. But maybe you can find them on YouTube. But
Interesting
that
you brought
was
that up, Pat. Aware One, somebody just put together all the songs from Aware One and there's a playlist
yeah,
up now. So you can experience Aware One as far as I know. Because I'm sure some of those
that's
songs
great.
don't live on Spotify, right? I'm sure some of those bands kind of just fell away.
Probably not. They probably aren't bands anymore, or they're whatever.
Yeah.
But I know, I mean, that's one of the things I wanted to say to you guys. Like, is that we both, I feel like our bands, you got a little earlier start. I was playing in a bar in Georgetown with my brother, but we were playing all covers. And I remember seeing a JP poster at a place called Dylan's Cafe that also Vertical Horizon was playing at, just Matt and Keith. And Doug Derryberry and John Alasia were playing as Derryberry and Alasia. And we would go to this bar all the time. Every once in a while, they'd have outside bands, and you guys had a poster up. I don't know if you remember this corner upstairs glass on one whole side of it. It's off of M Street. Anyway, I remember looking at your poster and thinking, these guys must be professional. Look at that poster. Everyone else looks like they made it with their mom's like Xerox machine. And you guys had like real posters. And like, I got to see this band at some point. Um, but I feel like we came up, and maybe Jack, you can talk to it. Like we are, what I've come to realize is that we're the soundtrack to a time in people's lives that they didn't have the worries they have maybe in the last 10, 15, 20 years. Their lives are there. I feel like our fans are now getting on the other side of, maybe they've had kids that are now in college, or they're getting to have their social lives back and they want to relive those days, of going out and seeing bands off of the Aware CDs. And I think when someone pops in the Aware CD, they're going to be like immediately taken back, or putting in your first records. So um, I just feel like, do you got that's so important to why I'm still able to do what I'm doing, is that we touched people back then, and I know you guys did. You must still be experiencing this when you're touring now, correct?
Yeah, I think that's right on the money. I always think about it in terms of, the music I listen to now, or the bands that I gravitate towards now. And there are certain bands that I've been in love with for years, but I always go back to one record, or um,
Right.
there's something powerful about music that can really you put on a song and it'll take you right to a moment, and it's a really powerful thing. And I think Carrie and I have been saying for years, like, when are people going to be, like, okay, we've seen it, we've done it, like, I think we've been saying
Yeah.
20 years, like, okay, this has got to be it.
Yeah.
We started this year, we started doing a purely acoustic tour where we're taking requests by email, not shout them out in the venue. We're taking
Right.
requests, and it's been a really great experience to see the breadth of the songs that are chosen as people's request for us to play acoustic live in the venue.
Right.
It touches like almost every record we've ever done. It is, it's a wide range, but you realize, folks are allowed to leave a comment. Not allowed. We ask folks if they want to leave a comment, and the comments are just really, they're just awesome. They're really touching. Like, my husband and I met in 1996 at a show, and you just realize how part of someone's soundtrack that you become. We dance to this song at our wedding or whatever it might be, and that's a powerful thing. And I think you're right. Folks, I know Carrie and I both have college age kids now, and people are starting to say, hey, I got some more time on my hands. I haven't really gone out and watched live music in a long time, but man, let's
Right.
go do this. And that connection's just super strong. And I don't know, I'm having more fun than I've had ever, I think, going out and playing for folks. So
Do you guys, we're both bands that are still putting out what we both, I think we all feel is our best material. People always ask, you must get the question all the time, what's your favorite record you've ever put out, or what's your favorite song you've written? And not, it's, you don't want to come off cocky or arrogant, but I think the next record is the best one. The last one is the best. I wouldn't have pressed print if I didn't think it was as good as the one that you fell in love with in the 90s.
mm,
So I know that listeners don't have the time to like stamp their life with this new music. They hardly have any time to listen to a track, let alone a full length record. So has it changed how you are releasing music? You guys are constantly, I feel like, putting out new songs. I'm about to go make a new record. It's definitely, I have to be conscious of, like, I know you get pumped on these 12 songs, these 15 songs, but I think that I finally have to give in and be like, do I just give them one song every few months? Because that's all they can really have time for. And are they going to, I think more than ever, it really makes me focus on writing the best damn song I can, and not just like, oh, this will be fun with Charty on percussion, or this will be great with the harmonies, or this will kick ass live. Like, it's got to stand on its own because they might not get to the show. So I I like the challenge. Obviously, we don't have labels telling us what to do anymore. Um, Not that they really ever did, but anyway, are you? How does it affect how you guys are writing, releasing, and getting the music to the fans in hopes that they bring it in and make it their new soundtrack, you know?
Well, Jack is a bit of a has become a bit of a statistician with a lot of what's happening, and as you know, and I'm sure you found in your own research, it's just fascinating how so much of this new music, we were on a trajectory for like every 6 to 8 weeks releasing a new single, kind of to feed the machine, and but also because we're writing so much and creating so much. But Jack, you can speak into that more. How I mean, we're all very aware that like we love Hall and Oates, right? I'm a huge Hall and Oates fan. I mean, so are you guys. Both of y'all are. How much do you care about Hall and Oates' new record? Yeah, there you go. I mean, we just don't care.
Yeah.
We don't care. Like, I love you, Hall and Oates, but I just don't care. And so there's so many. I have to remember because people are like, "Oh my gosh, I loved you guys in the '90s." Jump on Facebook, and you're like, "Oh my god," you don't want to be a jerk, but of course, and there's just no really way to. If people are stuck there, they're stuck there, and they're happy there. You want to honor that. So we never have found complete. We haven't found the formula yet, or the piece of how do we keep creating and staying new and fresh and vibrant and still making music when theoretically nobody, a huge chunk of people just don't care. And it's amazing how many of our actual fans don't even listen to the new stuff, which is okay. Like, you have the right to not listen. I mean, I have the right to be like, oh, Hall & Oates has a brand new record. I don't care. I have the right to say I don't care. I just want to listen to Your Kisses on my list. They're my scapegoat because they can take it. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know exactly what I mean. And then you're like, who's really listening to this? And then there are people that are like, man, I just love what you're doing. They love the idea that you're making the music and they like what they hear, but they're still not
Right.
viscerally connected to to that moment in time when it was like, first big girlfriend, first major this, first major that, first time at college, you know, so I could go on and on. Everyone knows what we're talking about. So everyone has permission, and then we just have to continue to figure out because we haven't done a record in a while. Our biggest thing we've done is EPs, like 6-song EPs that we compile single after single after single, and then compile them in an EP. So sorry, I was going to let Jack speak on that, but just about the fact that people that are following us on Spotify or that are really like our fans and our super fans, a lot of them are not like waiting with bated breath for that next single, and it shows in the stats. And it's kind of exciting too to think like we have a whole nother channel of people from all over the world that are listening to us have no connection to us and PMB and the Flood Zone and back in the day at Tracks, and they have no
Right.
connection. Simply like literally like all of us, you hear a song, oh, I like this, I'm put on a playlist. Maybe 2 months from now you're like, let me hear another song from this band, I kind of like this band, this is my band. And then you maybe you know how that is, and then maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, you may look at their calendar and go, oh, they're playing Dallas, oh, at a club, oh, they're playing at 10 o'clock, not going, okay, cool. So man, sorry, Pat, there was a question
Well, I think that
end
no,
with.
no, no, it's good. It makes me, it you know, it confirms what I already know. But it doesn't stop either of us. Cause I mean, I know when you guys sort of took a break and came back, Promise of Summer was like a song. I was like, this is one of the like, if you're going to put a song up against anything else of that genre, I just think it's an amazing song. It is played all the time at my house, and people are always like, "Who is that?" I'm like, "It's
Thanks, dude.
Jackopierce, not Jackopierce." And that was like that's a new song for you guys, right?
Right,
That's a
right.
new song. Not
Yeah.
um. So hopefully down the hatch, the reason we're all talking here is because we've been trying to work this out for a while, and I'm so happy we did. I know that our down the hatch family is just going to embrace you, and you're going to have a whole new crew of like 250 warriors of like, you must listen to this CD, this you must listen to this file, or however they're going to trade it. They're going to make playlists, and you're going to see some people that are going to be popping up around the country from DTH, and I just know that we're all capable of writing like the song that can be the new moment. And sometimes that does take, you guys must do some, not necessarily house concerts, but moments that people bring you in for, and they can start a whole new thing. Like, yeah, maybe were brought there to play Vineyard or whatever, but then you're like, hey, you can create a new moment. And I think it makes me conscious of like, I'm going out next week and opening up for John Waite for a few shows, which is, I, I hardly ever get to play in front of, it's rare I get to play in front of a new artist and new fans. So
Yeah.
I'm super psyched because none of that stuff behind, there's probably gonna be somebody yelling Rebecca or haven't seen for a while, but probably not. So I can do whatever I think is the best foot forward, and I'm excited about it. So you know,
That's
have you guys been doing any kind of stuff like that where you're playing in front of like, well, we're playing with this guy now? I played with Hall and Oates one time. That was pretty cool.
No way. But when you leave John Waite, I was trying to come up with a good missing you joke, but I'm gonna fail and stumble. But just know that it was on my heart to really land the plane on a great "I ain't missing you at all" joke, but it
Yeah.
didn't land. But it made me
Well,
think that while you were
that'll
saying
be the
it,
song I have to play the next night.
dude, that song. Oh my gosh!
Sorry.
And doesn't he have one other hit? Weren't you the one telling me about Jack?
Yeah.
About John Waite has another hit that I was like, that's
oh
John Waite.
oh yeah.
Great.
Wow.
Didn't
Now I
somebody
can't do it. It's a banger. It
didn't somebody
is.
cover it? And we
Oh,
were
it's
Um.
yeah, I'm looking
Change.
it up.
Change. It doesn't matter who you are. That song.
yes, yes, yes.
Change, yep.
And that made
Just
me
looked
think.
at recently,
But
and I
isn't
was
there
like,
another one?
I mean, he's probably got.
Tears.
That's a great tune.
It's gonna be I know it's gonna be one of those shows where I'm like, oh yeah, he sings that song too. That's cool. So I'm excited. I'm excited to go out and play in front of some new people. And I feel like the mini version of that for you guys is gonna be the fan base at Down the Hatch, which when I started these events, I never accounted, and it wasn't the plan to be like, oh, let's get these people together and they're going to all become friends and spend holidays together and go to each other's biggest moments in life. And they didn't know each other years back before that. So these people keep coming back, and it's probably what I'm most proud about. And it's not what I set out to do, but it definitely, I was just there to share artists that I thought were incredible in a place that I thought was cool.
See, that's a great point, and I think that's one of, not to make a weird circle, but that sense of community. We did a lot of destination shows for a while where we'd go to Mexico or Aspen or the wine country and create really, experiences around, Jackopierce show was the centerpiece, but then it was like an excuse to go to that area and experience it. But what we found were a lot of people that would show up for another one, but they'd become really good friends with somebody they met at the last one. So it was like this community that kind of started to build around, going to see us play, and then became like, yeah, we have our own friendship outside of you guys now. But that's a really amazing thing, and it's kind of that element of, when we play, there are people who are like, let's get together, man. We see this all the time, actually. Now that I think about it, we were in Boston, a group of guys came and they were like, we haven't seen each other in 15 years, but we saw you guys were playing, and we were like, we got to get together and go see these guys. I mean, you guys are like, our thing in college or whatever it was. um and that's just something that can't you can't put a price tag on that.
No, you can't. And look, I'm a big fan of Grateful Dead World and all that. And my friends and I get together and go see Dead and Company. Back when were like it's back in the late '80s and '90s, all the Jerry shows that we went to, and it's cool. It's amazing. We have that moment, but I think there's something so intimate about what we all are doing and what happens at Down the Hatch that those moments they're like on steroids. Yes, you're you don't have to deal with all the headache of, oh my God, we got to fly into this place, we got to go to this hotel, we got to park. It's a fortune to do this, and oh my God, I got to go get a $12 beer real quick, and I can't find my friend for an hour because they went to the bath. All these things that go on with these huge shows. Honestly, I think one of my first moments of being like, I got to do something that's a little bit more um, just from the heart than I think we were sitting on the lawn. Like last minute, we went to see Dave Matthews in Great Woods, and it was a super last minute decision. We're all sitting on the lawn, and it started to rain, of course, and then you couldn't really hear it. You definitely couldn't see it very well. And people were having fun, but I could tell people were like, I'm ready to go when you are. It was nothing against Dave. It just was a lot. And you're like, we spent a fortune. There's a better experience than this. These are great experiences to go to these if you can really tighten it up, but you're probably going to spend $1,000 to get the tickets and all this other stuff. Just for one night, you're not going to meet the band. You're not going to make new friends. You're just going to have this one tight thing. And that's why I'm so excited to bring you guys, because you're perfect for this thing. I'm so excited that you're coming. So I'm glad you're taking a chance on it.
Well,
Well,
we're excited. Yeah, we're excited. And we also know we're big, like you, we're value guys. We value exactly what you're talking about. you know, exactly like what you said. It's funny you said in the rain, because I used to always imagine those people like at Woodstock, like in mud up to their, past their ankles, and they've got a soaking wet blanket around them, and they're miserable. They're like, I just wanted to show that picture and be like, is this your idea of a good time? Because if it is, this show is not for you. We're trying to do these destination
Yeah.
shows, just like you, with in that 100-ish, where you want to connect with people. You want them to have an
Yeah.
opportunity to connect with you and vice versa, and have it be intimate to where you can really go for stuff. You can try things. You're having fun. I know you're doing all kinds of different themed nights. We get to play with a band. We haven't played with a band all year because we're like, man, we're just playing acoustic for right now. So we get to come down
Right.
there, get to play rock star for a minute. Then we get to play singer songwriter for a minute, get to do all these things. And somebody was like, hey man, just saw that down the hatch thing. It looks kind of expensive. You playing anywhere else in the area? And I was like, I don't know how to answer. I sent it to you because I know you could answer that. But to me, it's just such a value thing. If there's artists that you care about and you like, and you have the opportunity, and just like you said, you're not like barely making it to the venue because you barely made it to dinner because your friends are running late, and then you're trying to connect. It's just like, what a
Right.
nightmare. You're planting a flag. You're saying, I'm Pat McGee, and these are my friends, and we're doing it here. It costs this, but this is what you get. If that's not your bag, it's not your bag. But if it does, if these people don't have, to me, the value is in the connections, the hang, the one-on-one, the up close, the, hey Pat, I saw you play on the beach half an hour ago. What are those chords you were doing? That's really cool. Or hey, my son's a huge fan. Would you mind saying something to him? Or hey, hey Jack, I love what you do. My kid plays guitar. What are you playing here? Or I saw whatever. Knowing that you
Yeah.
got access to us, and to, we get to, I love it. I'm all in, and I think you're on such the right track, and I'm so grateful. Like, honestly, I'm more excited. I'm very excited about being able to meet. I mean, how many other artists you have on there? Like another 15 different artists, all in, at least 15, with dudes in different bands. So to get to connect with them,
Yeah.
to see what
Yeah.
made,
I mean,
like, hey man,
we started this thing where we're like, I love that there's so many singer songwriters that come, but at night, I mean, we're in year 14 now, and every year we're just like tweaking a little bit more to make it a better experience for people. And sometimes that's like, don't cram so much into the day. I mean, you go down in the morning on the beach if you want to come to the workouts, which used to be like 1 to 2 people show up. Last year we had like 50 people at the workout, and then we did 3 days of it. It's like one day is a meditation, one day is yoga, and the workout is really light. I mean, we're running it like we know what we did the night before. We know what we're capable of. So no one's getting hurt. So that being said, there's a set every half an hour on the beach, and you're going to see an artist probably get off a boogie board and play a set in their bathing suit, because there's no ego level of like, oh, I got to go get ready for my show. You just come out. It's so casual. And it's taken me a while to like sort of tune that. And then at night in the ballroom, I realized we used to continue the acoustic shows, but now people are like, I got my acoustic thing. I got 4 or 5 hours of it on the beach. Let's freaking rock out. So that's why we want to back you guys up. We're going to crush that material. I cannot wait to play it. It's super fun for me. It's like bucket list, guilty pleasure to stand behind you guys and just sort of hopefully add to what you're doing. We'll have a huge band with congos and B3 organ and another piano player and 2 drums. And then you guys do your thing, and we'll just hold on for the ride. And it's really impactful because those moments are incredible. We got to do it for Little Feat when Paul and Fred came from Little Feat. We got to become Little Feat for the night. I mean, it was unbelievable just to be up there with the guys that we're on, Waiting for Columbus. We're playing Dixie Chicken and Spanish Moon and, Fat Man in the Bathtub. It was like, so yeah, a lot of great artists. I don't have the list in front of me. I should, but Will Hogue is going to be there. Steve Poltz, the guys from Rusted Root are coming. So we're going to learn that material. I mean, like, it's just going to be a freaking blast. There's so many bands on the bill, but honestly, you can kind of close your eyes and click buy. I guarantee you're going to have the best time ever. We do a theme night one night, and last year it was Elton John, and the band meticulously practices these tunes. So I'll come to you guys once we do have our theme and say, here's the theme. It might be a band, it might be a genre, it might be a decade. And I'll say, here's 30 songs, pick one. And the two of you guys don't even have to bring guitars if you don't want. You just get up there and we'll crush the song and you guys sing it, sing a verse. It's so fun. And it's just one after the next. It's almost like one of those Elvis big bopper shows where like artists just keep going, and the band just stays there and plays. So these are the kind of things that are different about Down the Hatch. We also do the headphone disco thing. If you've never done that, have either of you guys ever done headphone disco?
Haven't done it. Heard about it. Looks cool.
I've seen people in action, but I'm excited. I'm
Yeah,
excited. I got my headphones right here, Pat. I'm ready to go. Should I bring these?
bro.
Should I bring these headphones with me?
Oh no, they
disco.
will not cut it. You are cabled. You will go down if you have a cable wrapped around you. Yeah, I was the first naysayer, and I got to give Train the credit for turning me on to that. Monahan hit me up on the first Train cruise. It's like, hey, dude, you want to come to the ballroom tonight and be a guest DJ? I'm like, for what? He's like, it's called Headphone Disco. It was the first cruise, and I was like, I guess I don't know. What do I got to bring? He's like, there's a computer there. You'll be fine. And I thought it was ridiculous. I walked in there and I saw this crowd of people at the probably 400 or 500 people dancing and screaming all different lyrics because they're listening to three different songs. So if the three of us are the DJs, three different songs are playing at once, and you can keep changing your channel. If you don't like what I'm playing, you can listen to what Carrie's playing.
Oh my
And the
gosh.
music is super varied. So you got people screaming a Britney Spears song, the other guy's singing Back in Black, and the other one's dancing to Michael Jackson or Metallica. And it is hysterical, and I've never seen it flop. And I thought I was going to do it one time, and it happens one night of Down the Hatch. But it happens annually, and you can only do one night. It's a big moment. These kids some people do bring their kids. I got someone that asked me yesterday, can I bring my 18 and 20-year-old? I'm like, absolutely. There's people that bring younger kids. We don't really advertise that, but if you're the kind of parent that's been bringing your kid to a concert for their entire life, they're probably going to be cool. And if you're cool with them being around people that are sucking back drinks and listening to live loud music, then that's cool. We haven't had any issues. But last year during the headphone disco, this kid and I had an air guitar duel on Hotel California. This kid literally knew every word and knew every bend, and he and I are like on our knees doing it. Sounds ridiculous, but it was an amazing moment. And I remember I took off my necklace that my wife hates, and I'm like, you can have this necklace. So, and I learned later that he took it to a jeweler, had it resized. He wears it every day. Anyway.
I thought you were going to say took it to a jeweler, got it appraised, sold it on eBay.
Hawked it.
Yeah. I love it. Well, that's cool. You know, it's interesting. We've done some pop-up shows and like much smaller, same kind of thing, even with the destination shows, and people ask about kids, and we're always like, if you have to constantly, if your kid can come and hang and be there just like you are, awesome. But if your kid needs constant attention to make sure he's okay, and is he, entertained, and does he need to go to the bathroom now, and do I need to get up with him and move him around? It's like, that's probably not the vibe, because I've had some of those, and I'm sure, just like to your point, you're saying, like, if your kids have been coming to shows and they know what to do, awesome. Because you never want to say like kids aren't invited, but you're saying exactly the right thing, I believe. And dude, I'm excited to meet all these new folks, and I'm excited. You said playlists, so I was like, oh, I want to make a playlist for Down the Hatch, and maybe you could tell us some of your faves. Promise of Summer's already going to go on there, which makes perfect sense for the event.
Absolutely. Hey, I wanted to ask you guys something. I feel like when I look back on your, I don't know where I learned this. It was either a YouTube video or an interview, maybe. you guys are both in. Did you go to school for with theater as minors or majors, or were you in theater in high school? Both of you
Yes,
guys.
Patrick, we were in the theater.
Uh,
And Jack,
see,
still in the theater in New York City. Jack, go ahead. Tell him about your theater business, huh? Jack's deep up in it. Deep.
Well, the big news is the actors' strike ended last night. So I'm a member of the Screen Actors Guild. AFTRA. We've been on strike for like 117 days or something. So it ended last night at midnight. Um, yeah, man, I do some acting in New York when Carrie and I aren't out on the road. Little this, little of that. But yes, we met as theater majors first day of college, freshman year. Imagine this, we were the oddballs in the theater department. So figure that out. And we just gravitated to one another from day one. And I think within a week we were jamming in Carrie's dorm room. So it's been in the works a
I
long
love
time.
that. I love that. I mean, I feel like I that was something, you know, I feel like since Glee has come along, it really made that I mean, I have worked with a theater group for my kids' plays, and I've written some songs for some of these plays. And all I could think of was like, man, I wish I did this when I was in high school and grade school. I was too consumed with like trying to learn Led Zeppelin songs and playing basketball. So the theater stuff was like, oh, you don't do the theater stuff; it's not cool. And it's become so accepted and something that's like you can take with you. I mean, you guys must draw from it all the time, whether you know it or not. From when you first started your band, you probably were, way more confident than other two guys with acoustic guitars. No,
Yeah,
with like
possibly,
just being on
possibly too
stage.
confident, more confident maybe than our musical prowess.
Well,
But
yes,
it
that for
helps.
sure. Yes, we were definitely outrunning the coverage in terms of skill level and confidence level, but it's a very different thing, man. It's a really different thing, at least for me. When you're doing like theater and stuff like that, you can assume you're obviously playing a character. When you're on stage singing songs that are personal, it's different. You're like, yeah,
Mhm.
that's Carrie Pierce, that's Jack O'Neill on stage, not hiding behind, there's no cover. So I find that to be the biggest, scariest part of it. I still get super nervous before we play, but I love it. It's.
We did a
Yeah,
show. We were at City Winery in New York City, and I don't know if you were. I know Jack, you came to one of those shows.
Did.
But David Duchovny was there, and he won. We were like, you should come out and play on the encore. He's like, what would I do? Because he does play guitar and sing, but he was terrified, like backstage looking at me like, I don't know. He goes, can you just don't plug my guitar in? Whatever you do, don't plug it in. Just stand near me and like don't nod that I got to go do something by myself. I'm just going to try and hang on for the ride. And I'm actually very nervous right now. And this is like as we're walking out, and I'm thinking this guy's got the bull by the horns at all times in life, and he was terrified. I'm like, oh, it is different. I guess it's different for
But it's fun.
what we're doing.
All actors want to be rock stars. All rock stars want to be comedians. Like it's like a circular. Everybody wants to do something else. I know so many actors who have bands on the side or doing something on the side. Um, and some other actor told me that bit about rock stars want to be comedians. I don't know if it's not something I just made up. I don't want to take credit for it, but
and
it's a
then
different.
at the
Well, it's
Jackopierce show, there's some times when people say that, yeah, you guys actually do have a strong comedic side. So for those of y'all watching that have never seen us play, there can be some fun banter, some good stories, some good sharing, some you never know what might pop out. And Pat, just for those who don't know, I'm assuming this is kind of going up to everybody that's either coming or on the fence, maybe, that just to try to let people know that we're doing Down the Hatch, which is Memorial Day weekend.
It is the weekend after Memorial Day weekend.
Oh,
It
okay, good.
is June, it's May 29 through June 1. So it's Wednesday. It used to be two nights. Now it's 4 nights because people just kept coming earlier and earlier in the week. And our like pre-hang the night before went from like, hey, let's meet at this wine bar to
Right.
now we're setting up full on rock show. And we also used to play in other venues in Kill Devil Hills. Have you guys ever been to the Kill Devil Hills, Nag's Head?
This guy.
Yeah, my dad was in the army. We lived at Fort Bragg, so we were going to the Outer Banks. I mean, back in the '80s, like back when,
Mhm.
like yeah, we
We
went
could
to all.
we could have been on this we could have been on the same beach, me and you, Jack, because I spent a lot of time there. My best friend growing up, his family had a house in Nag's Head, and I grew up with a family in Jersey, Philadelphia. So we always went to the Jersey Shore growing up. I still do. And North Carolina was like my friend's place.
We would always go. Yeah, we'd go to Wrightsville. We started working our way up. Nags Head, Duck. Now I guess Corolla's. I mean, but back in the day, like Duck like there wasn't anything up there.
No,
Um,
yeah, Duck was fancy. Duck got real fancy. But Nag's Head is real laid back. If you've never been to the Outer Banks, you fly to Norfolk if you're flying from Texas or wherever else your fans are living all over the country. People come from everywhere. You fly to Norfolk, you drive about an hour south, and once you get there, you don't leave. It's an island. It's real low key, even in 2023. There's not a lot of chain anything. Target came in a few years ago. People were like, "What is that doing here?" So,
is it
um,
still a brew through there?
brew through, yeah, the only drive through that I know of, a drive through. Hey, put that 6 pack in my back of my. It's way cooler if you have the Jeep that's on the T-shirt. But if you have a rental car, you should rent a Jeep just for the experience. But
So
yeah, brew through is like,
that was a key T-shirt to have when I was a kid. If you had a brew through T-shirt, you were pretty legit party guy for eighth grade. You know.
yeah. Carrie, you'd probably choke on the. I think they actually have a stat in there. Like McDonald's has like over a billion served. They have a T-shirt selling stat inside the brew through, and it is it's more records than we all of us combined have ever sold. Just T-shirts, and they're T-shirts that, like you said, people have to get. It's like I went to brew through. I'm cool, you know. But anyway, we can all dream to sell that much merch one day.
I love it. And for those who've never been to this show and for us, can you just walk us through quickly, like just what it looks like? You arrive on Wednesday. You have the option to arrive on Wednesday, or
Right.
you can show up Thursday, right? Or give us
Yeah,
like,
yeah. If you
yeah,
don't, okay, so you fly in Wednesday. 5 o'clock is the kickoff. We set up a full band rock show in the ballroom that's ready to rock at any moment in case it rains and we got to go in there during the day. We're ready to just get up on stage and go. Um, but it's also so that every night at from 8 p.m. until just before midnight, we do the full band stuff in the ballroom, which is steps from your hotel room. Um, there was a time where we were going to outside venues, but I just didn't like the fact that we were commingling with the local population that didn't know that we were there to do all this original music and have these incredible moments. And you got locals who want to hear Sweet Home Alabama. And unless we're doing a Skinner theme, it's not happening. But you get there at 5 o'clock on a Wednesday. You're probably going to have a meet and greet with all the artists, all the fans. There is no backstage. There's no VIP ticket. Every artist is hanging with the fans. You're going to be sitting there having daiquiris and Bloody Marys with these artists, or uh, if you come to the workout in the morning, you're going to probably be holding their ankles while they have to do the wheelbarrow across the beach. It's like you got to do that. Get ready, start stretching. But it's really like you're in the thick of it with the artists, right? Um, and so you'll go from 5 to about 7 acoustic, take a break, meet up in the ballroom. For the most part, people sleep in a little bit. Some people come to the workout in the mornings, but the music starts live on the beach every day at about noon and goes till about 4. And you come down, you park your butt in the sand, you're staring at the ocean. Like if this was ocean behind me and I'm playing and you're just sitting in your beach chair with your with your cooler full of whatever concoction that you whipped up that morning, or you can bring food down there. It's an amazing little set it and forget it. Don't go anywhere. Nobody plays the same time as anybody else. That's my number one rule. I don't like festivals where you're like, I really wanted to see this artist that I think is cool, but the Foo Fighters are on the main stage, so I got to see that.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main reasons that I can't have more artists, because there's only one time slot. It's the present that you're in, and it's not, you know, I don't want people to pick and choose who they see. I used to not publish the schedule because I didn't want anyone to say, I've never heard of Jackopierce. I might go get a taco in town and come back later. Like, no, no, no. You need to see it all. And I've made it so easy for people to just sit there, enjoy themselves, and get turned on to new music. And it's really like, about as easy going vacation as you can imagine. It's not one of those vacations you get home from. You're like, I need a vacation after the vacation. It's not that. Unless you really throw down, then maybe, but that's on you. So
Hey man, I was excited about this. Now I'm really excited.
Yeah, it sounds like it's definitely our kind of vibe, and we love the idea that we just get to hang with, with you, with other artists, get to know some other artists. Will Hogue is a hero. I'll tell you more about why
yeah,
he is our hero. Jack, do you remember that? You've heard the story, right?
I don't remember.
Well, I'll share that at the show. I'll save that. I'll save that for down the hatch. Why
Let's save
Will
the
Hogue?
big review.
And I won't even tell Will until we get there. But we'll share how he and Butch Walker came to our rescue one night, and it was pretty amazing. But man, we're fired up for all of it, and I know, um, I mean, yeah, I love the fact that there's a lot of people out there that value that bespoke, curated, highly curated experience. That, just like you said, we can go to a Dave Matthews show or some big shed show, and there's 15,000 people there, 20,000 people, and have a line super long to get your $12 beer, drop in the tip and tax, and yeah,
right.
have a couple of beers. How did I walk out here with $40 and I bought two beers, and I spent $38 for parking, and took me an hour to wait in line for parking, and all those things. Like, a lot of us just aren't into that, and so I'm just so grateful that you create this event and bring all these folks together and have this experience. A lot of people have been hearing about our destination shows and have never come, so this is an opportunity to get kind of an idea of what it's like just to go to a destination to enjoy our music and get to learn about a bunch of other artists, and get to pick and choose. If you get to sit there and have it, never have to leave, or you know what, I really wanted to see this and this, and I do now want to go to town and shop around it. I mean, I know you're not holding anybody there. They
Right.
can do whatever they want. So I think it's just super win-win. And for those of anybody that's like on the fence about the price of the ticket, I mean, the amount of work that goes into these things. I mean, you're creating a wedding. I mean, everybody's been a part of a wedding. We've either been in a wedding, we've been at a wedding, we've helped pay for a wedding. So you're there too.
Last year, I'll interrupt you 1 second. It became a wedding last year. I married my piano player and his now wife at Down the Hatch. She said, "Hey man, don't tell anybody. Let's just make an announcement. Everyone come down
That's so
to
cool.
the beach, Pat's, because I'm an ordained minister online. I forget the Universal Life Church.
You forget.
So I can marry you if anyone
Just
wants to get married at the Down the Hatch. Cheapest wedding you'll ever throw, or renew vows. We did a vow renewal one year. That was pretty awesome. Um, anyway,
Uh,
so yeah, it was a wedding last year. Kind of
Jack,
genius.
Jack and I,
Like,
Jack and I did a vow reunion the other day. It was like A, E, I, and then Jack did the rest. It was pretty
oh,
great. Yeah, it was pretty great. That was
sometimes
terrible.
that's
That
a
was
good one.
terrible. The humor will be better, but we know firsthand how much work it is to put that thing on, to aggregate all those folks, to curate all those folks, to take care of everybody, make sure everybody can get there and be taken care of and have some place to stay and provide for their families. So that little ticket price would be it's going to be the least it'll be the cheapest thing you do for the entire weekend. So it pains
Yeah.
me when people struggle on that, when I bet if you looked at your cart, we're starting to figure out cart stuff people that, they put stuff in their cart, they go back to it, they look at it again, they delete it, they start over a week later because they just don't know about pulling the trigger. I would just say, yeah, if you're on the, just like you'd said, Pat, if you're on the fence and you're thinking about it, just like you said, click like this and hit accept and go for it. Because, this may be our one time to play this thing, and maybe Pat never has
Hmm.
us back, or maybe we have to come back in a couple of years, or we become a regular act. But this is a special boutique, small, intimate, highly curated festival for 250 people, not 25,000
Yeah.
people. So
Right.
take, you'd spend so much money going to the 25, 50, or ACL. What is that? 60, 80,000 people. I've been to those. Like, I just don't really have much interest in slogging through all those people and the drug use and the people that are drunk out of their minds and all the safety issues and all this stuff. Have at it. 250 people on the beach, chill, people that are adult humans that want to get together and watch music. I'm in.
Yep. I want to show you a picture of what I did
Oh
last
gosh,
year.
yeah. I said adult humans.
So yeah, well,
It's the name of our
what
new
were you just
band, dude. Let's
saying?
let's start a band, the three of us, the adult humans. I love that.
We did
Woo!
this is last year,
I love that. That's awesome.
redoing that. My photographer went out and got the exact chair from the is it live or is it Memorex?
Yes.
I
And
love it,
so
dude.
that was from the wind down. So this is the beach, and this is me on day one. It's just such a there's another part of it that I think is really cool. Yeah, this is the exact, I think the exact one. But is the songwriter like, oh yeah, here's some getting some beach air.
Bro.
Pretty awesome.
That's
Pretty
really
cool.
cool.
So listen, there's another thing we do that I love, and I hope you guys are up for it. Is a writing session, songwriting, like in the round. People just come into the ballroom in the morning, and we just chat about. It's really free form. It's like, hey, this is the guitar riff I wrote in this song. This is why I wrote it, and then it led to this. And then people just ask questions about, well, how'd you write that? And why did you write that? And then the artists just start talking, and it organically becomes this sort of masterclass thing, and it has no plan until we get there. So I don't like to be like, we're going to talk about song form, because people show up with like, you're allowed to bring a guitar. People show up with ukuleles with tags. They just bought it. They bring freaking wood blocks. It's like kindergarten class. Um, and then we have like a couple jams at the end where we're like, all right, let's play this song. We're teaching people how to play an A, G, and a D real quick. And then some people are super accomplished and better musicians than the ones that are there. Uh, and it's a really fun thing. And some people bring their journals and share poems, and then we write a song right there. It's really a special moment that we might do two mornings of, because it gets pretty well attended. So that's also something
Sounds
different that we do.
awesome. Sounds awesome.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah,
Love
bro.
it.
Well, I won't keep you guys too much longer. I know we all got stuff to do. It's getting dark now. What is this nonsense?
I
It's
know,
pitch
dude.
black. It's
I know.
5:30 in the
Getting
East
dark out
Coast.
here.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time. We will talk again, I'm sure. But I'll work on the playlist for all these fans. I want them to know about your music if they are not familiar with it. And we do have a lot of shared fans, and I sure hope some of the Jackopierce fans come so I can buy them a drink and hang on the beach, and I'll be one sitting on the beach while you guys are doing your set. And it's just there's nothing like it, and I'm really proud of the fan base that comes and supports people. And yeah, I look forward to having you guys.
Can't wait.
And if you got any theme ideas, let me know, man. Let me know.
We will. And dude, we're excited to be a part, man. So thank you for including us and letting us into your fold. A lot of these folks, I'm sure, I mean, dude, if you go to Spotify, I don't know about on your side, but if you go to Spotify for Jackopierce, Pat McGee and Pat McGee Band have not left our top 10 in forever. Like, it's Freddie Jones Band at number one, Pat McGee, Bob Schneider, Toad the Wet Sprocket, Glenn Phillips. Like, we're all right there. We've
Right.
never left each other. So the fact that it's taken this long for us to get back together, it just shows you how much commingling our fans have. And man, I'm excited. You joined us, dude. We played tracks maybe on like a Wednesday night, like we flip flop nights. You know, Dave used to play every Tuesday at tracks. Some of y'all remember that. We came down and played Wednesday at tracks, and you maybe opened for us at tracks, I believe, and you sat in on guitar, and we are like, "Holy crap, Pat McGee's a great guitar player." You not remember that, Pat? You look at me like you have no idea. Was that a tequila or two later?
I do.
Earlier?
No, I do remember that. We took over the Dave. We were playing Wednesday.
Yeah.
We played Thursday at the Flood Zone, and we played Wednesdays at tracks. It wasn't like the next Wednesday when Dave left, but it was pretty soon after that we were doing the regular Wednesday gig.
Yeah.
But that's nice. Oh, I missed that, days.
Dave would do Wednesday at Flood Zone, and Dave would do Tuesday at tracks. So when we came and did that Wednesday, were you there like already plugged in to open for us, or did you not play with us the first time we played tracks? You don't remember? Pat McGee.
We'll have to ask Dana Murphy. She'll have the answer, and she's like all over Facebook. So her and Chris Bowman will right away be like, I know what that show was. So props to Tracks. I wish that place, R.I.P. Tracks. That place was so great.
Tracks was awesome.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of your fans, and for you, Tracks and Flood Zone that's foundational. That's like trees for us, right? In Dallas.
Right.
Clubs. All right, baby, I got to go.
When we get down to, I know you guys got to go, but when we go to Down the Hatch, I want to talk to you about trees. We'll talk all about it on stage. There's some funny moments we had there. I know you'll appreciate them. So, Kerry, thanks for taking the time. Jack, appreciate you.
Man, can't wait.
I'm glad the strike is over.
Yeah, thank you. We'll see what happens.
All right, you guys. Take care. Have a good one.
See you guys.
See you in the Outer Banks. Bye.
Fields begin to recover. Finally, it's the promise of summer. Lights are shining round, and then cards are coming down. Across the world, they run to each other.